by Roger Gonzalez of Gonzalez 9 hours ago. 5 minutes read. There is no doubt that Argentina, from the streets of Buenos Aires to all 23 provinces, has as much talent as any country in the world when it comes to soccer. It's long been like that. From the days of Mario Kempes to Diego Maradona, from Gabriel Batistuta to Juan Roman Riquelme, the two-time World Cup champs had a pool overflowing with talent that other countries would dream to have. And somehow this era of Argentina soccer hasn't been able to get the job done. It's been 25 years since the senior national team won anything. It's been over 10 years with the world's best player on the roster and nothing to show for it. But why is this team disastrously spiraling downward at the World Cup in Russia? It's rather simple. The continuity and the leadership aren't there. It feels like a sinking ship and nothing more. And there is one more game left to right the ship and send the team to the knockout stage where it's all about surviving and advancing. But before Argentina kicks off against Nigeria on Tuesday, let's examine the reasons why this team is in such a tough predicament. 5 coaches since Maradona in 2010. From the latter part of 1974 through the 2010 World Cup, Argentina had 8 coaches. Since the 2010 World Cup there have been 5, and 3 during the 2018 World Cup qualifying cycle. How can you expect a team to build anything? And all the changes that come with it, from the tactical side, relationships, team dynamic and change of players, it's self-destruction for any squad. And sadly, the Federation has picked the wrong man to lead this team. Sampaoli has 1 point in 2 World Cup matches with Argentina. Getty Images. Sampa's subs and the lack of talent aren't cutting it. Argentina manager Jorge Sampaoli insists on using players that are typically on the bench with their respective clubs, and it's baffling. Willy Caballero, Chelsea backup. Marcos Rojo, Manchester United backup. 2 players that aren't good enough to start for any big team or club, yet they have been earning minutes in the opening games in the starting lineup. Caballero gave Croatia the first goal. He nearly gave up another howler, and he wasn't sharp in the first match. Rojo was awful in the opening game before Sampa finally pulled him out of the starting lineup and kept him on the bench for all 90 minutes against Croatia. Aside from those 2, there were several players that didn't make the final cut that deserved to be at the World Cup. German Pesaya has been fantastic at defense with Fiorentina, and the same goes for Ezequiel Garrett at Valencia. In the middle, Matias Granevita, Rodrigo Battaglia, Pablo Perez and Leandro Paredes have all been leaders for their respective clubs. Up top, Mauro Icardi has deserved more of a shot for his production in Italy. Yet Sampaoli brought 2 true forwards to the World Cup, which isn't enough. Now, it's easy to say, if he would have brought these players, they would do better. We obviously don't know that, but many of them are experienced, proven and know the core of the team really well. One would assume there would be more chemistry. But instead, he opted for a 32-year-old Enzo Perez who has struggled at River Plate. He opted for a 34-year-old Javier Mascherano that plays in China and has no business being on this team. An Angel Di Maria that hasn't been good in a couple of years. An Obanega that has never produced consistently with the national team. And Lucas Biglia, who isn't 100% healthy. It's hard to understand what his thought process is. All I know, it's not working. Absolutely horrible from Argentina, but I am not at all surprised. No manager. Not enough quality. Poor player selection. Poor formation. Little heart. Hashtag World Cup. Roger Gonzalez, at Gonzalez Cups, June 21, 2018. How many players? Since he took over in May of 2017, he's called up 59 different players. He's never repeated a starting 11 in consecutive matches, and he's changed formations in each of the first 2 World Cup games, playing 3 at the back against Croatia, a team you simply cannot do that against because of the height and ability down the wing. I'm all for experimenting and trying to figure out how to move forward. But fielding all these different players through his first 13 matches at the helm shows he's scrambling. He doesn't know in what direction to go, except down. The federation is to blame as well. It pulled the plug on Edgardo Bausa shortly after Gerardo Martino stepped down. Change and more change. From the top to the bottom. Of the 23 players Sampaoli called up initially, before the injury to Manuel Lanzini, 11 had 10 caps or less with the national team. Some weren't even hardly used by him in qualifying leading up to the tournament. It feels like he came into the job without ideas, just with a truckload of duct tape and a prayer. And no prayer has been answered. In his press conference after the match, Sampaoli said that he thought the game plan would work. It hasn't worked since day one. The reality really affects me, Sampaoli said. It's painful. For the 40+ million Argentines in the country and for the fans around the world, even more so. It's to the point where the days of Argentina crashing out of the World Cup in the quarters are welcomed by some. That's the sad reality. Sampaoli and the federation are to blame. Not Lionel Messi for not scoring. The changes in coaching, the player selection of a coach that clearly doesn't know what he has at his disposal, is ruining what could be Messi's last chance at winning the World Cup. The 2002 World Cup group stage exit was bad. This is much worse. Not enough talent, not enough heart, but more importantly, not nearly enough leadership. It's not Messi's fault. It's not Gonzalo Higuain's fault. From 2014 to 2016, Argentina lost a World Cup final and 2 Copa America finals. Those were tough to swallow, but the team was able to at least get results and advance. Having a manager that has proven to lack the ability to get this team to play has been the downfall. Pick one match Argentina has played since Sampaoli took over where the team has looked sharp. The 4-2 loss to Nigeria. The 6-1 loss to Spain. Oh, right, the 4-0 win over Haiti before the World Cup. I'm waiting. And so is Argentina. But not just for a trophy, but for a manager worthy of leading the talent this team has. For a federation to make the right selection to rebuild this train wreck. Argentina is hanging on by a thread. It still has a chance to go through thanks to Nigeria's win over Iceland, but the team will have to perform, which is something it hasn't done in a long time. In Russia, the side of the Argentina team bus reads Unidos por una ilusión. In English, Together for a Dream. A dream that, thanks to Sampaoli's terrible decisions, has managed to turn into a nightmare.